I sincerely believe that prioritizing STEM education above all else for 20 years is one of the reasons that the United States is currently overrun by a technocratic oligarchy and why its populace and students have no media literacy or reading comprehension.
I think about this a lot because I grew up in a very conservative Christian homeschooled environment in Texas. And what I saw was that just like in nutrition, where if you don't receive the right nutrients, then your health gets worse, I saw a lot of people who simply lack the mental tools for introspection or understanding, and they themselves kind of ended up in this feeling of like perpetual misery without the tools to be able to escape it because they didn't engage with enough art or they weren't taught the importance of arts as a whole. This environment had a heavy emphasis on productivity, to always be working on something, which created an environment where enjoying something or savoring a moment was considered frivolous or self indulgent, which makes me think that it pushed a lot of young men to not be present in their daily lives. I often think about taking pictures, for instance, where there are photos that were taken when I was 17, and I remember at the time being like incredibly abrasive about it, where I didn't want the photos to be taken because I just wanted to enjoy the moment. And now those are the only photos I have from those times that I spent with my friends, and I'm so glad that those were taken back then. But think about it, if you have a culture which emphasizes productivity, and then it pushes you to not try to capture moments or enjoy them or remember them, well, what happens after 1 to 5 years of that? Where you can't remember what you did because you didn't capture it, because you didn't write it down, because you didn't savor it. This is why we do nice things like having candles or chocolates or flowers or live music. This is why we have decorations during the holidays and we sing together with other people, because we are trying to create more vivid, meaningful memories. The new scent from the flowers, the interesting acoustics from the live singing, those things help us remember events from our past so that we have a stronger sense of memory and we know who we are as a person. In a similar sense, the arts are there to establish a foundational understanding of who we are as a human species, something that is not fully understood by Americans, largely because our culture is not very old. It's a very young culture. But when you look at a piece of art from 500 years ago and you understand that what you're experiencing or thinking is something that someone else was feeling the exact same way about 500 years ago, it hurts a little bit less. It helps you understand that you are human, someone else has been through this, and maybe they have the methods to figure out how to handle this and how to become a better, happier person. In addition, like when you study the arts and you understand yourself, you also learn how other people are in human nature. You start to understand how people might try to manipulate other people, so it makes you less susceptible to manipulation. It makes you more resilient as a whole. When you take away that education and when you take away that understanding of the importance of the arts, you can end up creating a population that doesn't know why they feel what they do, nor what to do with those feelings. So you can have a population of people who feel disenfranchised and they don't know what to do with it. And then in comes a charismatic leader who simply states, your anger is because of these people, therefore direct it towards these people. And that's kind of what's happening right now. We have a lot of people who are disenfranchised because there was a recession, because there was a pandemic, because they lost their job, because it was outsourced overseas. They don't know what to do with that anger, so Trump came in and then he said to blame it on the immigrants. And a lot of people, probably because they just didn't know any better, started to agree with that.